ladies and gentlemen. What's in store is something that I have been eagerly looking forward to because there are tons, there are myriads of insights when he talks. Allow me to flip through my pages of my script because these contain words so precious. We will lead you all into a session by the one and only, may I say, and this is known as the Spotlight Session. You know, Maya Angelou once said that my mission in life is not just to survive. My mission in life is to thrive, and to do that with some humor and some style. Well, we will enter into a session that will talk about how to wow. Are you ready to be wowed, ladies and gentlemen? Are we ready to be wowed? Give me at least a nice yes. Yes, we will have the cocktails, we will unlax our cocktails and dinner. But for now, just the last bit to have, where I'm seeking all your energies to be intact. Are you ready to be wowed? Okay. Okay, are you ready to be wowed? Okay, you did the singing part better, so we will do more of singing, but first let's focus on the content. What makes your brand appealing and memorable? That is something that's going to be taken by a brand strategist, a coach, author of 9 books, if my research is right. He will not be handcuffed for that for sure. Founder of brandbuilding.com, he's also been the ED and CEO of, in one of the prominent companies of the advertising world. Ladies and gentlemen, a chemical engineer from IIT Madras, and so much. And AMD from Harvard as well. It's time to hang in tight and welcome, with a good round of applause, please welcome the brand strategist Ambi Parmeswaran once again on the stage, please. A very, very warm welcome to you, Ambi. Over to you.
My time starts now. When a number of you were coming up here to receive your trophy from the gorgeous Dina Kamal, I was just thinking of those poor people who came and picked up the trophy from me. They were kicking their lungs that their company didn't have an starting alphabet which was I or L or something like that. They would have picked it up from Dina Kamal. I wish I would got my trophy from Dina Kamal. Anyway, so thank you for inviting me here. I'm going to talk about personal branding, and I'll not take too much time because I'm standing between you and the bar, I think. Until I finish, the bar won't open, so you're stuck here listening to me. So let me give a very short talk on personal branding. I'm not an expert on personal branding. I stumbled into it because during the lockdown, I was invited by IIT Madras to do a series of webinars, and one of them was on personal branding, and it turned out that became the most popular, and I delivered that same webinar many times in the span of 6 months. Got me thinking, why don't I do some research and write a book, and that's what I've written, and some of you have already got a copy of the book, which ET has graciously bought for you. So, what is it? Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. I'm not saying this, Jeff Bezos says it. So there are many myths about personal branding. The first myth is really, personal branding is all new. It's all because of social media. Before social media, there was nothing like personal branding. The reality is, the first article on personal branding was written in the year 1977 by Tom Peters. It's a cover story of the Fast Company magazine, and it said, "Brand called you," and he talked about how each of you here is a personal brand. It's up to you to remember that, to recognize that. That's myth number 1. Myth number 2, personal branding is good for Dina Kamal, big stars, CEOs, CXOs. I'm just a marketing manager. I'm just a production manager. I'm just a lawyer. I don't need personal branding. But the truth is, everyone needs personal branding, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, or a young manager. Myth number 3, personal branding happens on its own. Why should I do anything about it? I'm working hard. People know this. I become a personal brand. You may, or you may not. Truth is that if you don't tell your story, someone is going to tell your story for you. That may not be the story you want to be told. So that's the third myth. The fourth, I've heard this often, personal branding is all about bragging. Like, I know so and so. I took a selfie with Zinat Aman. Unfortunately, personal branding is not bragging. Personal branding is being proud, being loud, and being strategic about what you can do and what you have done. And there's nothing wrong in talking about it. The fifth is related to personal branding is networking. Lot of us think networking is really for losers. Going around giving visiting cards, saying, hello sir, can I have your visiting card? Done that way, it doesn't work. But a great network is built if you have diversity in your network. So all of you know the story of Microsoft. The big break they got was when they got an order to deliver the disk operating system for which company? Which company? The first big order which Microsoft got. Well, IBM, right? IBM PC. They were the people who got the contract to write the disk operating system for the first IBM PC. The story is, how did they get the order? Bill Gates had dropped out of Harvard and he was, kind of developing software in his garage. Fortunately for him, his mother, Mary Gates, was very active with an NGO called United Way. And she used to go for those regular, every monthly meetings to the United Way managing committee. And in that committee, there was a gentleman called Jim Akers. So one of the meetings, Jim Akers asked, Mary, what's your son doing? Is he in college? So Mary Gates said, look, yeah, he joined Harvard, but he's dropped out. So Jim asked, so what is he doing? Well, he's sitting in our garage and he's saying he's doing something called software. Jim Akers told her that, look, it's interesting because, we are getting into home computers and, ask him to come to our office and meet our team. So he went to IBM and met the people and he got the order and he wrote the first software for IBM PC and they say, this is history. Today, Microsoft in terms of market cap is probably 5 times that of IBM or something like that. But his first break he got because his mother was a great networker. So all of you here, when you hear great, go around, meet people, exchange cards, build your network, but also try and build a diverse network. It could be a running club, it could be a book club, it could be a tennis club, it could be a Carnatic music society, but build a diverse network, and there's nothing wrong in being known as a good networker. So that is the 5th step. The 6th is, personal branding is too complex. It's very difficult. I'm already working very hard. I don't have time for all this. Harvard Business Review, in the issue 2 months ago, outlined 7 steps for building a personal brand. And in my book, I've talked of 5 steps, but I'll read out the 7th step which HBR talks about. First is define your purpose. What are you? Can you put it down in 3 or 4 words that what you stand for? Second is audit your brand equity. Check with people you know whether they believe that what you say about you is true. That you think you're very humorous. I think I'm brilliantly humorous, but do people think I'm boring as death? So check with people. Do they really believe that what you're saying is true? And then construct your narrative. You may have to make some changes, make the changes. Then embody your brand and communicate your story and socialize it. So social media actually comes as step 6 or step 7 in building your personal brand. Myth number 7, personal branding is very, very complex. Now in life, nothing is easy. Right? So building a personal brand is also complex and as they say, suck it up, live with it. Myth number 8, personal branding is too expensive. It's very difficult, too expensive, I don't have the time. These are all excuses. When social media became popular, I found someone in my office to help me manage Facebook. I didn't know how to do it. So each of you may have some youngster who knows how to do it and take their help. And It's criminal if you don't have a up-to-date LinkedIn page. Criminal. I do executive coaching and sometimes, I have a meeting tomorrow and I'm checking out the LinkedIn page of the person, two people I'm going to meet. Both of them are lousy. How long does it take to clean this up? You don't need to spend 1 hour a day on your LinkedIn page. At least spend 1 hour a month, update it, answer questions. Right? So, personal branding is not expensive at all. The ninth myth is personal branding is all about social media. Now, that's not true. Personal branding, step 6 is social media. The first 5 steps are in your hand. How do you define yourself? Do people think this is true? What is your executive presence? What is your executive voice? How do you expand that? And then comes social media. So don't make the mistake of thinking, I can't be a personal brand if I'm not active on social media every day. That I need to tweet 3 times a day. I need to post something on LinkedIn every 2 days. Not at all. You don't need to. And you can still be a very powerful personal brand. In a sense, the most powerful personal brand to come out of this country came out of this country when there was no social media, when there was no internet, there was no smartphone. Who was this personal brand I'm talking? The most powerful personal brand to come out of India. Mahatma Gandhi. Right? But if you go through his book, you discover that he used several tools which we talked about in personal branding to great success. The way he dressed, the way he wrote, the way he talked, the way he created media to communicate. He had magazines, he created 3 magazines. He wrote a lot. He wrote so much. And there are apparently 20 volumes of his writings, both in Gujarati and in English. We could do so much and also fight for independence. I think each of us can do a little bit and probably write 1 blog post every month, not too difficult. And the 10th point is all of us work for companies, therefore we need to balance our personal brand with that of our company brand. These two cannot conflict. And when they conflict, we have a problem. So, Mr. Chandrasekharan was running marathon. It was his personal passion. He had created a great network running marathon. But later he found a great fit between marathon running and TCS. To the extent he went on to sponsor the New York Marathon. That's a great marriage of personal branding and company brand. So that's all I have to say. I think before you could shout at me, I have finished my little talk. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, listening to me. And my heartfelt sympathies for those of you who had to collect your trophy from me. So have a good night. Thank you very much.